Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of Worldly Talks, the show where we talk to freelancers in all forms and sizes to find out what makes them tick and to see how they face their challenges. Today we are joined by Carrie Jean, who does a wide variety of things from content writing to voice acting, and she has a lot of really good tips for anyone trying to figure out this world of freelancing. Carrie Jean is also kind enough to give out a free copy of her poetry book Unwarranted to you guys. Just follow the link in the description and use the code WorldlyBeings. This is the YouTube side in our growing community called Worldly Beings, and if you like this content, be sure to subscribe to the channel, click that bell button, and please join us on Instagram at worldly_beings. This was the introduction, now it's time for Carrie Jean. Stay safe.
All right. Carrie Jean, the personal cheerleader, content writer, and voice actor, and much more. Welcome to Worldly Talks.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
So tell me a little bit more about what you do.
So I am what some people call a hybrid professional, which is kind of a new term in our lay of the land. So I do more than one thing. I'm a freelance writer. I like to focus in content marketing. I'm also a virtual assistant, and I also am a voice actor. So I can do lots of different accents, which is good for like video game or app building, even if you will. So I blend all those three things into one thing, and that's Content by Carrie Jean.
All right, nice. So how did this begin? Was it like a lot of few small interests combined into one, or was there always like a plan to start doing this?
So I'm glad you asked. I've always been kind of having my hands in different pots, so to speak. But like you, I come from a restaurant background. And when you work in restaurants, there's really not a lot of time for those things. So once the pandemic hit, I really had to pivot. And then all my interests, I started to think about, okay, how can I turn this into revenue for myself during this time? And so I just started writing. And I just created my own website, and Content by Carrie Jean was birthed.
That was actually one of the questions I wanted to ask you, was like how you moved on from restaurants into this new adventure, so to speak. But so it was the COVID-19 that forced you a little bit to go into this, or was it like you saw an opening and...
So it actually was the majority of COVID-19. So I was living in Florida in January. So me and my boyfriend moved from Florida all the way to California, which is literally across the country. Here I thought like, oh, I work in restaurants. I can get a job like anywhere, especially near LA. I'm thinking I can find a hotel, I can find a restaurant, at least bartend, at least serve, if anything else. And then like 2 weeks after I got here, everything just started like domino effect shutting down. And here I was like, oh, I have a recession-proof job. And that was not the case. Everywhere in California was shut down, like all the restaurants, like it was kind of eerie actually. So I had to really pivot due to COVID.
Yeah, it went quickly with all the restaurants. It just took I think we lost at the old place I was at like $1.5 million Swedish crowns in like a week.
Really?
Yeah, we had like all the company bookings just disappeared in like a few days. It was insane.
Yeah, like seriously, you think that restaurants, I was like, I'll either go into medical or food because people are always going to be sick and they're always going to be hungry.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I mean, I guess, medical field, you've got it bad right now, but restaurant industry does too. So, but it's been great working from home.
Yeah, I believe that. So when you decided to create the Content by Carrie Jean and you actually started doing it, did you have something set up already, or was it all from scratch?
Good question. I can kind of toot my own horn here. Everything was 100% from scratch. I was actually living in a hotel room while we were looking for housing during everything, and it was a little bit difficult finding housing. So I had plenty of time on my hands at the hotel I was at, And I started everything from scratch. I created my own blog, website, every social media profile. Everything was from scratch.
There's a lot of work.
Yeah, it definitely is a lot of work. And I always kind of said that I was a bit of a 90-year-old when it comes to technology. And I think I've put that just down to shame because I have totally invested my time into learning WordPress and all of these other things that, like, if you're not tech savvy, it probably will not work out for you. But I spent tons of hours on YouTube, different forums, different blogs, reading books on how to get that blog up and running and make some money.
What was the best thing that you found? Well, I guess you studied, since you read a lot of books and you tried to make this work out. What was like the best thing you found?
What was the best thing that kind of helped me get things going?
Yeah, exactly.
I would say, honestly, YouTube, because there's so many freelancers willing to share what they did to be successful. So there are two names that I really learned a lot from, Sarah Turner and Sean Ogle. They have a really big YouTube presence on teaching freelancers how to get things going, how to build a website, how to pitch, letters of introduction, plugins for your website, SEO. YouTube really taught me at least the fundamentals, and then I could find books based on those topics that were introduced to me. So YouTube was probably my encyclopedia of how to get started.
Yeah, YouTube is huge. You can find pretty much everything you want to find out on that platform.
You really can. Like, any interest I have, like literally if I get into like contouring, it's on there on YouTube. I like any hobby I want to learn. If I don't know how to sew a button onto something, it's on there. Like, you could learn a language. It's so great. I love it.
Well, that's the whole idea. I like what you said about the freelancers wanting to share and are willing to share their knowledge, which is the main idea of this YouTube channel we're creating with the Worldly Talks, is to get all these freelancers gathered in one place where we can all connect and talk to each other. That's the biggest thing for us.
I love that. And it's been so hard because even with the things, the stuff that I've read, the books that I've read, a lot of freelancers, authors, creators, digital media creators, it's so important to network, right? Because there are a lot of overlapping things. Like, I may write, but I may need an editor down the line, or I may need a digital artist down the line. And it's been so hard to network and find those sort of freelancers and get that little, camaraderie. I think we're all kind of missing that, especially being new. I want to be able to talk to people, and it's been a bit hard.
Yeah, I agree. And was like one of the biggest challenges for us ourselves in the beginning, to, for example, finding people to interview. Right? Like, here we come, like, who are you guys? Like, we just want to talk to you. So it's very exciting for us that a lot of people has actually said yes. So I think this is the fifth interview we're doing right now, as of like only a few weeks. So it's super fun to see people excited, and we have a lot of super cool stuff coming up as well. That we're shocked to see that so many people are looking for a way to connect. So you're right when you say that. Like, networking is key when it comes to freelancing and to get all these people together.
Yeah, for sure. And even like, I've started looking at different conventions to maybe go to within my freelancing niche. So I like to focus on restaurants, small businesses, foodie, kind of spiritual things. And even though those networking events may still be happening, I'm a little bit paranoid still to be going out and networking with humans face to face. So to be honest, the virtual networking route is a little bit preferred for somebody, especially me right now.
With this, with Zoom and everything, like Teams, Microsoft have one, and there's probably 100 more kind of apps. But what we're doing right now is, like, if we did this a year ago on YouTube, it would be super weird. Like, where they're doing a Zoom conversation. but like now it's completely normal because everybody does it. The world is taking a big step into the digital world.
Cool to see, honestly.
Yeah. So are you doing, when you're saying you're doing hotels and restaurants specifically, are you doing locally or are you trying to do globally as well?
As far as freelancing?
Yeah, with the restaurants.
Honestly, globally, as long as my service, remote service, can provide benefits to them. And I also want to be able to understand their audience. So if there's some sort of huge culture kind of, barrier that I might not serve them, then perhaps it wouldn't be the best fit. But for sure, open to anybody. I really like to work with small businesses who don't already have blogs and to at least give them some content to fluff up their website or to get them in the content marketing realm.
So one of the questions I had was if you had any low points, but I'm guessing you had a few since you just started. And with COVID hitting and living at a hotel, I imagine that was a bit of a struggle in itself. But when you were creating your platform, the website and all this, was there anything that you came up on that was like almost made you quit?
Honestly, not yet. Nothing in the creation phase, only because honestly, there's always an answer out there. Like I haven't come to a point where I'm like, I can't figure this out. It's helpless. I either can find someone that knows how to help me, either on YouTube or a forum or on Upwork. I can also be like, hey, I need help with my WordPress. I can't figure out how to put something in my shop. So I haven't come into any direct walls. Only the lowest point for me has been being super picky with clients and knowing that some clients are not going to be the right fit for me and to probably not take those on. Because I want like everything in the world. I want all the jobs in the world, but then I took on this client and the work was just exhausting. It was taking me way longer than it should. So my hourly rate was suffering. So that was the low point of being like, okay, I have to drop this client. How do I do that? Am I going to make money if I drop them in the future? So that was my lowest point so far. It's just dropping that client and the stress around it.
Talk a little bit about that because you used to be a restaurant manager.
Yep.
And when you said it's like when it comes to like dropping a client or choosing a client, what have you found being the most effective way to so far, well, choosing a client if you know that you can work with them or not? Like, well, what you listen to your gut or do you have a system for it?
So I'm very kind of intuitively based. It's a gut feeling. So first of all, I would advise any freelancer to go with your gut. Or if the person is just rubbing you a wrong way and you're just like not really respecting them and you don't see yourself doing that, probably backpedal and that might not be the best client. But I like to ask a lot of questions. If I'm feeling like it's good and I want to carry on, I will, but I will ask questions like, who's the audience I'm writing for? Do you have a demographic who is your target audience? What are their demographic? I need to know all of that. What is the product you want me to be writing about, if any? I need a topic. And if all of those somehow get, troublesome, or if I'm getting any red flags, or if I am simply not going to understand their audience, like I'm not going to be writing about golf. I know nothing about golf, so I won't be writing about that. So if their main audience is golf players, I probably will step back because I'm not going to write anything that resonates with them. So that client will not see my job as successful. So then I'll just cut it off there and say, thank you for your time. I don't think we'll be the best fit. And honestly, the client will respect you more for it at the end of the day.
So a little tip for the people hiring freelancers as well is look what your freelancer do before you hire them.
Yeah, very true. Check out that website.
I used to work at a brewery where I got yelled at by an old lady for not having cocktails.
I and you're like, oh, I'll read the sign. It's a brewery.
Like you literally could see the brewery from the bar.
Oh, I'm sure we could share stories like that all day. Like this one lady, this regular we had at the hotel restaurant, she would order hard-boiled eggs, which weren't on our menu, but it's like, whatever, we can boil an egg. But then she got mad we didn't serve it in one of those like cups. Like the hard-boiled eggs, like they have like fancy cups. And I was like, ma'am, you just created a new menu item. Like we don't have the dishes to go along with it.
Yeah, we could share stories about that for
Oh,
hours.
we could. We totally could.
But because I had a question I was thought about, because as we both have been working as restaurant managers, I guess we had different systems, but I read your article about how to create a working team out of diversity, a lot of different people, and how to make them work together and for the same goal. How do you translate that into your work now? If you see because now you are your own boss, but at the same time your own employee. So you'll have to coach yourself in a lot of ways, I guess. I feel like I have to do that sometimes as well. So how's that?
Yeah, it definitely is different. I've always been very self-analyzing though. So I'm always kind of managing myself, so to speak, which is a blessing and a curse. Can cause some anxiety, but that's okay. It makes me a better person. But you really just have to, like in my article, you put people where they excel. So I think I had an example, I had this bartender that was super, super chatty and who didn't get anything done, but was great with guests. But then I had this other guy who could like break down a well in like 2 seconds. So you divide and conquer, right? So I kind of do that with myself. And what times do I work better for certain tasks? So maybe in the morning, I'm a bit more creative and I can work on my creative writing, poetry, short stories. I can create graphics for my social media. Whereas maybe in the afternoon, I am a little bit more distracted, so I can do more technical work, maybe updating my accounting books, looking at, revenue versus expenses, pitching to clients, just gathering lists of leads. So knowing how you work and when, knowing how to read yourself and when you need a break. The best part about being a freelancer is you can take a day off if you have like 0 deadlines. So if you're feeling like you need a break, you probably need a break. Just take a day off. So just knowing yourself enough to give yourself room to either excel when you can or take a step back when you can.
I like that answer a lot.
Yes.
If you were to sum up everything that we talked about, what would be the best advice you have to give to somebody just starting out or that are being stuck doing something or just want to go even a little bit further?
The best advice I've gotten so far, and something that I would want to share to other freelancers, and I heard this when I was like super young. I've always wanted to write. So I emailed, it was back when like you had dial up AOL. I was like emailing all these young adult authors, like, how do you be an author? And one of them, Sarah Dessen, which is like huge over here in the United States, like she writes for all the teenage girls, super fun author. But she actually emailed me back and she was like, just start writing. And I was like, it's that easy? Like you just start doing it? So my advice to anyone just starting out, or even if they're stuck and they're maybe like, am I a freelance writer or am I a freelancer? Is this what I want to do? Am I an actual business owner? If you want to be something, just start doing what those people do. So if you want to be an artist, go grab paintbrushes and paint. If you want to be a writer, start writing. If you want to be a bicyclist, go ride a bike. The only way you're going to start getting to the where you want to be is by performing those actions that those people do. And by doing that, you're going to naturally draw in this energy that will support that idea. And it will amaze you as soon as you start to identify, you know what? I am a freelancer and I do own this business and I am going to get those leads. And as soon as you change your mindset to this is what I am doing, it's like everything just falls into place and it's wonderful. And that would be my advice to anybody.
That is a great advice.
Yes.
There's no shortcuts.
No, you just got to do it. You just got to do it. And you can wait for the shortcuts. That's fine. But you're going to be waiting forever. And especially if you're waiting for someone else to do it or to give you the opportunity. It's not going to happen nowadays. You've got to create it yourself. And the best thing about right now in the world is I truly believe a lot of people are getting that opportunity. A lot of us are facing, what do we want to do with our lives? You know, we've been faced with our own mortality in a way that a lot of people haven't been asked to face. So people are like, what do I actually want to do? Do I want to go back to that job that I actually hated? Maybe not. Maybe I want to own my own business. Well, then just do it. Start doing it. No one's going to give it to you. You got to give it to yourself. And the opportunity is there.
Yeah, I think for the first time in a long time, there is a lot of people are going without jobs. I mean, the unemployment is insanely high, and just about like in Sweden now, jobs are starting up again a little bit, but not as near as much as there was before. And they're also fearing the second wave coming, so everybody is on standby, prepared. So there's a lot of possibilities to evolve on the internet to get your freelancing starting out.
There really is, and honestly, anybody who does have a secret skill, if you, during your job that you are laid off on, if you were a data entry person, if you were the video editor, if you have some secret skill and you're furloughed or unemployed right now, the world is yours for the taking. I mean, if you are freelancing right now, you're doing something wrong, honestly, because unless you just don't want to, that's fine. Collect your unemployment check, totally okay. But you could also be investing your unemployment check too into your business. So there's lots of opportunities right now.
There really is. Is there anything new you have coming up that you'd like to share?
So actually, yes, I just got done writing my first poetry book, which I had in the working since 2016. But the time has come. I put it all into a nice ebook, and I'm actually going to be giving it away free to all of your followers with a link.
Ooh.
So so special for you guys. Obviously, I ask anybody to not share it with the whole world, but for sure, if you love it, give it a good review. Let me know. And it's called Unwarranted. So.
Unwarranted, all right.
Yeah.
And if the guy's watching or girl's watching or a non-binary person, if you like the book that you released, you can also buy it from her to support Carrie.
Absolutely. And I'll give you that link as well. So we'll have a freebie link and then actual paid link.
Exactly. Where can we find you?
So I am all over. You can find me on my website, contentbycarriejean.com. You can also find me on Instagram by the same name. Twitter is Content by CJ, and I'm also on Facebook. You can find me by Content by Carrie Jean. So all over. And then I should be on YouTube soon. I'm going to be doing my voice accents mashed in with Sims 4 videos. So I'm going to be doing a little I'm going to be writing my short stories, but then acting them out through my Sims. So
that sounds awesome.
I'm so excited about it. I'm very excited.
So you're basically going to cosplay on Sims?
Yeah, and it's going to be fantastic.
Do you say cosplay when it comes to voice acting? I don't know.
We're going to say it now. We're going to say it.
Sims. Yeah. Carrie, thank you so much for joining us here on Worldly Talks. It was a pleasure having you. And thank you for the good energy and good vibes. And I hope we do something more again soon.
Yes, of course. Absolutely. You can always reach out to me. It's a pleasure chatting with you as well.